You might find yourself watching videos of people debating a political policy or social issue and quickly realizing that the argument has turned into a passionate, anger-driven debate. And so a thought that comes to mind is, how do these people function outside of this argument? When taking a step back and noticing how often we interact with people who have beliefs that differ from our own, it seems to be as if there lies a mass of people who are reasonable and willing to just talk without destructive conflict. There are individuals who are able to live with others in opposition of their ideologies or lack thereof and not have an eternal antagonism to their interactions, living in a sort of affinity which stems from their desire to simply learn and exist in a progressive manner, one that does not require burning bridges or holding grudges. A sort of catch and release form of discussion and debate, that with conflicting views there is common ground in fighting for what seems to be best. That after an argument, both parties are able to exist and mature because of the awareness they both hold, that the other only wishes to service the other in the right manner, and that this heat of passionate discourse comes from a place not of hate or animosity, but of respect and recognition. The concept of agreeing to disagree is one that I don't frequently wish to find myself in, but nonetheless end up concluding in. Most conversations, when they get to a point of conflict, either invite people to passionately defend a stance or invite people to not care enough to delegate effort to the conversation. In either case, the discourse shuts down into an agree to disagree state. A sort of I'd rather not philosophy finds its way at the end of someone's revelation or opinion or factual disclosure. One of my favorite observations of debate comes from Neil deGrasse Tyson's critique of argumentation. Either I'm right or you're wrong, or either I'm wrong and you're right, or we're both wrong. We each enter the conversation knowing this. The argument is no longer about convincing a bias over another, but rather attempting to work together to figure out what perceived truth is most accurate. What can be recognized is that most people argue from a position of assumption. That one, they definitely think they know what they're talking about, and two, they definitely think that convincing them is going to be quite difficult. What might be more beneficial, however, is to allow for someone to argue against a perceived belief so that they may better explain their views or so that they may know where they are wrong and how to develop a way to be right. But this is under the assumption that people argue not to make their view the same as yours, but to see if you understand your own conclusions well enough so that they may know if they are wrong. How then could anyone enter a conversation wishing to learn something from it if who they are talking to has not yet investigated their own beliefs to be prepared for criticism or opposing views? What is difficult to accept at times is that someone might believe something and not understand why they believe in it. And yet we must be perfectly fine with putting our lives in their hands by engaging with them, arguing with them, and actively growing with them to some capacity. I myself argue knowing that I probably am wrong in what I am saying and only wish to be told what is right. This allows for me to have beliefs that are prepared to be shifted within reason, that if I am wrong, I'm glad that I am, so that I may be right.